My name's Carmen. Today we have a reading for you about a friend or somebody who's been a friend for a while, and you're starting to see just how positive an impact they have. You could be at a point where you're trying to decide, can I trust this person? Can I tell them some of the things that I'm going through? Or you may have already decided to tell them something that's been difficult, and you're seeing that maybe they're just really supportive or they're able to give some really great advice, but there's a positive impact because of this friendship. So I love to see that. Let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. And I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. If you're snowed in like I am, I hope you have some fun activities and enough food and drink. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is in the description box below. It's wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. In the description box, you can also find out how to become a member and also find my new candles that I have launched on Etsy. So let's dive in. I think we will start with the Pause Tarot. What else do we have about this friendship? Three of Pentacles in the reverse, World in the reverse, and the High Priestess in the reverse. So it does feel to me like I'm reading for somebody that has felt rather disconnected or not having a lot of individuals that they could trust in their network. So with the World in the reverse, this is kind of like, you know, I generally stick to myself, or I don't necessarily feel like I can trust people with those worries or those like day-to-day issues. So the High Priestess in the reverse, this is somebody who's just kind of like struggling to branch out or have a, I don't know, varied perspective because they are disconnected from others. But I feel like this changed. We have Justice in the reverse, Two of Wands, and the Chariot. There was some pretty significant setback or a, I don't know, betrayal, poor choice. And now we've had some resetting, or, you know what, it's time to start with a clean slate, or let's go move over here or start a new job. There's forward movement for you. And I feel like this is saying you've been able to focus on some of the things that are really important. Maybe it's about your living situation or work, your finances. But now we have some attention being placed on the social community. Who do you have around you? And do you have some friends that you can count on? Or just confirmation that you have at least one really good friend that you can trust. But I feel like this is all started because you were willing to walk away from something and start a new chapter or take a little bit of a risk, not stay where you were before. We have Strength and Ten of Cups. I see you setting up in a different place and things starting to get a little bit more settled in. Four of Swords, helping you as far as the healing that you needed to go through, forgiving or letting go of things from your past. But we still have this Four of Cups, and that's that feeling of being disconnected. Like, yeah, I've been able to fix some things. I've been able to distance myself from people who are toxic, but I would still like to have some of that feeling of friendship. I would still like to have, you know, like a social community. So how do I change that after I've had to walk away from a group of people or walk away from my hometown, that kind of thing. Tower in the reverse, Ten of Wands in the reverse, Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. So there's going to be a situation that might be a little bit stressful or inconvenient for you, something that is overwhelming. You know, this is being recorded while we have an interesting snowstorm. That is probably complicating people's commutes and just like the random things you have to get done in a day. So it could be something where, you know, I have to do something a little bit different, or I have to go to a different grocery store, or maybe I'm walking instead of driving. But there's something here that is not part of the regular routine, and it enables you to run into or get better acquainted with somebody who is very much so friend-worthy. Somebody that you could trust and somebody who seems to get along with you or would get along with you quite well. This is the Beginner's Tarot. What else do we have? We have the Seven of Wands in the reverse and the Seven of Pentacles, 2 sevens, interesting. And the Ace of Swords in the reverse. So you may not feel that there has been as much progress in your life as there really has been. You might feel like there's still some things that you have to work on before you can get too close to some new friends or even, you know, romantic interests. But I feel like there's a change happening very quickly for the positive, and this could impact you with regards to your job, or it could also be enabling you to connect with somebody who looks at things in a pretty similar way. Hello, Brandon. How are you doing? This is a general reading with tarot cards. It's not your thing, that's all right. I still hope you have a great day, but you're welcome to hang out. We have the Two of Swords in the reverse and the Ace of Cups. Your decision to walk away from an environment or workplace or social group that was toxic or holding you back has enabled you to set up this new life or build a new foundation. And maybe you kind of felt like it was going to take forever to meet some new people, but I feel like there's one very close friend that you're about to meet or about to get closer to. Maybe you've worked with them, but you haven't really hung out outside of work, that kind of thing. Nine of Wands in the reverse. There's some sort of problem here that happens. Maybe, you know, it is because of inclement weather, and so you end up needing to get a ride in order to get to work in time, or maybe you end up helping somebody else because they got stuck in the parking lot. But there's something here that enables you to spend a little bit more time or get better acquainted with somebody that you end up being a very good friend with. Hello, Dasha Tree. How are we doing today? Hello, famous Seamus. How are you? Oh, that's fair. I hope it goes well for you. So we've got the Queen of Pentacles and the Five of Cups in the reverse. So if you need just a little bit of a reminder that being lonely for a portion of your life doesn't mean that you will always lack that supportive community, just be on the lookout, because I do feel like there is somebody who I'll be referencing as the Queen of Pentacles, but this would be somebody that is trustworthy and reliable. And it could also be a reference to somebody that you meet because of your profession or because of your work. We have the Star. Yeah, I do think this is somebody who would get your jokes and be very understanding or helpful. This is not somebody who is selfish. This is somebody who is focused, but probably also has a bit of a tendency to be selective in terms of who they spend time with. You may have a tendency to see negative traits or assume that somebody is not trustworthy. If that is true, make sure you give this person a fair shake, because I think you're going to see that they are absolutely interested in seeing you be happy or have a good life. No jealousy here. Queen of Cups, Queen of Pentacles. This is a reliable person. What else do we have? This is the Graffiti Tarot. Three of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Swords, and Strength. Okay, so this is going to be somebody who takes action regarding a situation that you may hesitate on. So I feel like this is how you know that this is the person you're supposed to be a good friend to, or at least be open to getting to know better in a friendship way. I feel like you see them, you know, correct a situation in a respectful way, or, you know, hold open a door for somebody who clearly needs some, assistance. Maybe they're carrying a big package, but we have somebody here who you already see their character, like, pretty much right out of the gate. It could even just be how they treat people that work in public, you know, post office or gas station. But you see that this person is probably a person of integrity based on how they act in a situation that doesn't seem to be directly with you. More so you're like a witness to it or a bystander. And it's clear to you that this is somebody who operates with morals or a desire to do right by others. Hello, Joaquin. How are you doing? We have the Three of Cups, Empress in the reverse, and the Four of Pentacles in the reverse. This could be somebody who comes across as very generous. I feel like there could be a little bit of an age difference, but it's kind of looking like you see somebody respectfully disagree or encourage someone to be more polite to, like, the bartender, you know? They handle something in a classy or elegant, respectful way that most people would probably start a fight over. Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. Nine of Swords in the reverse. Five of Swords in the reverse, and the Four of Swords in the reverse. Wow, that's a lot of air energy in the reverse. So we might have Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra featured prominently in your chart or your person's chart. Probably your person would be a reference to that friend. But with the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, I feel like there's some commiseration. Like, we're both stuck in a really long line, so we might as well have like a little chat. Or, you know, the traffic is awful and we're stuck on this corner and we don't really want to get hit by the cars that are coming through too quickly. There's something here where there's some inconvenience and you get to know this person and you see that maybe they're quite funny, or maybe they look out for people that they don't know. And I feel like there's this opportunity for you to be like, well, hey, you know, while we wait for them to figure out how to get the cars back up and running, you want to go grab some coffee? There's some opportunity here for you to get to know this person. Again, this is a friendship reading, but that doesn't mean that the Ace of Cups is, you know, I want to like see if this could be romantic. I feel like this is more so, wow, you know what, like, you're a really cool person. I don't really want to like not be able to, you know, talk to you. Here's my business card. Or, hey, you know, like, sometimes I go to this bar for Wednesday night trivia. Maybe you should show up sometime. So we have the Four of Cups, someone who feels disconnected getting an invitation, and the temptation here is to say, thanks, but no thanks. I don't know. I kind of like not seeing people. I don't know. I don't trust people, and you're a people. So I feel like this is saying just be a little bit more, I don't know, make your decision based on who's in front of you, as opposed to assuming and like kind of lumping everyone all into the same box, right? Hello, Annette. How are you doing? Hello, Jacob. What's up? Let's see. What do we need? I think we'll go with the Kipper. What else do we have about this friendship, please? Main Male and Journey. Mature Woman and Gift. Yeah, see, I feel like you're out and about, maybe running errands, or maybe you actually are traveling. Maybe you're at the airport. But I do feel like there's some sort of inconvenience, a delay, or a line that you're standing in. And then you meet this person and you realize, like, hey, you know, like, if I had to be, I don't know, stuck in an elevator, if I had to be, you know, wasting 30 minutes of my time waiting in a line for something, at least I get to, like, chat with this person who's rather delightful. Imprisonment. Stuck in the line, I see. See, I think this is about the two not really knowing each other, right? Two strangers becoming friends because there's someone else here who is just kind of lame. Have you ever been in line at some sort of retail situation and there's a jerk being rude to one of the employees, and then you and this other person are like, oh God, what a loser. Can you believe, why do people do this? Like, can't you just, does it take you that much to be able to be polite to somebody who's at work? They're making your food. Don't make them mad at you. You know, like, I feel like it's, can you believe how ridiculous that person is? Oh my gosh, they're throwing such a fit. Maybe it's somebody who's getting kicked off a plane, you know, like, wow, did you see that? Yeah, I got a little video of it too. And then you're all of a sudden you're friends. Hello, Gianna. How are you doing? So this unexpected income, look, maybe you also get a nice little addition to your bank account, but I feel like this is referencing to the fact that you are in the same place as somebody that you could end up being very good friends with. But you do have to be at least a little bit open to the idea of seeing that person again sometime in order for it to be a friendship, right? Oh yeah, no, I have friends. That one person that I talked to like 7 years ago, that was great. No, you have to actually like maybe take that person's business card or offer your own. There's something like that that enables you to actually be friends with this person, right? Hello, Steven. How are you doing? Or is it Stefan? How are you? This is the situations deck. What else do we have about this friendship, please? Happiness, wholeness, overjoyed, and smiling. Negotiator, bargaining or begging. And twin flames, the one, mirrored souls, and pledged. Now, I know we get all a little bit uppity when we see the twin flames card, but I'm going to point out that it says mirrored souls. I don't think this is somebody that you are meant to be with romantically, but I do feel like you see a lot of similarity between you and this person, even if there is a little bit of a difference in your age or your background. There's just this feeling like you've known them for a lot longer than you actually have. And I feel like this negotiator card is indicative of somebody who's willing to try to right some wrong in a public or like kind of inconvenient situation where you may have been dealing with kind of like, you know, the jerk in the line or the person who gets removed from the plane example. What else? We've got the pop-up card, spontaneous, unexpected, surprise visit, children, young, childhood, playful, and trash, discarding, throwing out. So you've been distancing yourself from people who are childish or immature. And when you encounter this person in probably a situation where you're feeling a bit inconvenienced or delayed, you're going to, I think, finally realize, you know, I might have to be open to making friends in kind of unusual ways. And this person's pretty rad. Okay, so we're stuck at the airport. Let's go have a coffee. Let's go chat. Or, hey, you know, if this is the grocery store you're going to, you're probably pretty convenient to this. You want to grab lunch, you know, next Saturday or something. There's an invitation that happens. Might be you, might be the other person, but it enables you to actually build a friendship with this person that I think you rather admire. Hello, Lemonade. How you doing? Hello, Hayden. Hello, Cherry. Hello, Michelle. How we doing? I think it's pretty cold most places. I'm ready for things to start melting. There have actually been trees that have like been breaking off because of the weight of the ice. Hello, Skylar. How are you doing? Oh, to you as well. I bet it's not quite as cold there, huh? So we have the Two of Cups, friendship. We have the Moon. This for me is talking about mirrored souls, somebody that you don't expect, but this is a person who has a lot of similarity. Hello, Marcus. How are you doing today? Thank you for the tip. When is XRP investment paying off? This year or later? XRP pay off this year or later? I got that added for you. Thank you, Marcus. Yeah, just more and more ice. Hello, Figure Out. How are you doing? So we have Justice and the Ace of Swords. I'm telling you, there is a very good chance that there is Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. However, we could also look at this as another way to reference the idea of it being mirrored souls. Gemini, of course, is, you know, symbolized by the number 2. So it could be, you know, you are 2 peas in a pod. You have a lot in common. You would be inseparable. We have the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse, the Chariot in the reverse. There could be a problem here with transportation, very like planes, trains, and automobiles. Hanged Man in the reverse. Yeah, don't resist getting to know this person a little bit more. This is going to end up being a close friend of yours. So we have the Nine of Swords, the Four of Swords, and the King of Cups in the reverse. This is going to be like the silver lining in a difficult thing where, you know what, yeah, it was a little frustrating to show up late or to miss my event or not get back in time, or, you know, I didn't have my hotel reservation. But the bonus is I ended up having this great story and meeting this person that I consider to be a friend, right? That's good. So we have the Nine of Cups in the reverse, the Queen of Pentacles, and Death. This is someone who keeps coming through as a Queen of Pentacles. That's a reliable, trustworthy energy. And I do feel like they're around when you have felt like everything else was in transition or it was changing and things haven't really settled down. So this is going to be someone who helps to ground you, someone who helps you to understand, you know what, it's good that this has happened and maybe things haven't fully settled yet, but they're going to. So perhaps a little bit older than you, or maybe they've been through something similar and they can help you kind of like not have to feel so stressed about it, right? Oops. All right, this is the Waite Smith or the Rider Waite. I'm jealous for sure. I think it's like maybe 15 degrees. Ew. All right, what else do we have? We have the Ten of Cups, the Six of Cups, and the Seven of Cups. Wow, that's a lot of water energy. Okay. This is somebody who I feel is going to make you look at your new living situation or a place that you moved to or a new workplace, feel like a place where you belong. This is going to be someone who, even though initially you were kind of wondering, like, am I ever going to find somebody that I really feel is like a close friend or a best friend? You may initially view it as kind of like not a big deal that you get introduced to this person, but then I think very quickly you're like, no, you're like bestie material. We need to like hang out and stuff. And they're receptive to this. Page of Pentacles, Magician in the reverse. I feel like you bond over somebody who is a negative, like kind of controlling person in a like retail or a public situation or like on a plane. And you just kind of like chuckle over this or, you know, agree on how something should be handled. Like, yeah, kick them off the plane. That person doesn't deserve to be here. Emperor in the reverse, Three of Pentacles in the reverse. And you both seem to be traveling alone or you're, you know, shopping alone. And then you're like, oh, all right, well, you're kind of funny. Hello, Ritish. How are you doing? Ooh, Lord, yeah. So we've got the Seven of Wands, Seven of Swords, and Queen of Cups in the reverse. It's like you make the same joke or you have the same attitude about this person being difficult. You may even kind of like team up, like, I don't know, we saw that person, they're trying to budge in line, or we heard what they said to that flight attendant. So you might kind of work as a team before you're even friends, you know, which is kind of sweet. All right, what else should we get for you? This is the signs of the times. And I feel like there is a card in here called Community, so maybe that'll come out. What else do we have? What else? Peace and harmony. Someone who would be a non-toxic friend. But you meet them in a situation where it might be a little stressful or might be some delays, and then you are impressed with how this person handles it, their calmness or their demeanor. They come through as very mature, even though there is like a canceled flight or some, you know, detour from a major highway. I do feel like there's some sort of travel or journey involved. And you end up crossing this person's path for a reason. You two are meant to be friends. That's cute. I like it. This is the Gypsy Oracle, and then we're going to start on those personal questions. What else do we have? Yes, thank you. I appreciate the likes and the subscribes. Always. We have misfortune in the reverse. So even though something is frustrating or delayed or canceled, it ends up being something that you're thankful for because you end up leaving that situation with a new friend. Wedding in the reverse and constancy. So this is what's clarifying for me. This isn't romantic. This is somebody who's a friend, but it's someone that you would be able to trust and someone who gives good advice. Somebody who is going to be interested in participating in a positive way in your life. This would be somebody who knows how to help you through difficult times or may have experienced some of the same types of frustrations, especially with dishonest or toxic people. So it's kind of like you both delight in the idea that you've been able to locate a friend who's not going to be toxic, somebody who is going to, you know, be on the same page or be able to challenge you if you need to hear it without it being combative. So enemy in the reverse, widower in the reverse. This is somebody who I feel is probably single, at least when you meet. You have a common enemy or that person who's being rude while you're out and about. And I feel like you band together to help, like, defend the person who's working or defend some stranger. Like, hey, I feel like you could maybe be a little bit more respectful, that kind of thing. So you bond over that. I like it. That's sweet. All right, let's get, we're going to go with the Tarot of the Nile. So for Marcus, will the XRP pay off be this year or later? Will the XRP payoff be this year? This is saying this year. There may be some inaccurate forecasting or some folks who are a little bit concerned about how this goes at the start of the year. But I feel like somebody's wrong about their estimates or wrong about how well something is going to work out. We have Justice, Four of Pentacles, Death, and King of Wands. So someone makes a decision to be a little bit more conservative. Keep in mind, this could actually be you. Maybe a lot of people are saying you should sell here, and you're like, I'm going to wait a little bit longer. But with this King of Wands, I feel like there is a nice payoff for you this year, and it's because you do something, even though maybe somebody is advising you not to hold on to it or to go ahead and sell right now. I feel like you make a better choice. You listen to your intuition. Everybody else walks away. You hold off for a little bit, and then with the King of Wands, it's like, okay, yeah, that worked out well. So timing is important. And I feel like everybody abandons something prematurely. I do feel like the number 9 is important. It keeps coming out. So something happens in September. World in the reverse, Empress in the reverse. Yeah, there's doubt here that other people are using as justification for their decision. But I feel like there's something that tells you they're being a little bit pessimistic. Yes, I appreciate that too. Challenge accepted. All right. Where are you? There you are. I'm going to pull 3 cards that have a yes or no answer on them for all y'all. This would be a good time for you to pause the video if you do not have 3 questions in mind that would have a yes or no answer. For example, does Billy have a crush on me? Is the ice going to melt tomorrow? All right, what do we have for question number 1? What do we have for question number 1? Not ever. It better not be for the snow question. What do we have for question number 2? Very doubtful. And what do we have for question number 3? Most likely. All right. I hope that helps. Love you all. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscribe.